What's he say?
Good evening. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight to hear Jazz Ensemble One's last performance of this semester. And thank you, all of those who are attending in person. We will start things off with an Earl MacDonald composition, and this piece showcases each section and a number of soloists all throughout. This is entitled Cow Tippin'. Thank you. Cal Tippin. You heard from several of the folks in the band. You heard from Ben Sevy and Josh Dickey dueling there on trading sixes and fours and twos. You heard from Camron Gooden on trombone. And you heard from Thomas Purtiball on trumpet. How about it? Moving on, we're going to play a piece kind of written in a ECM slash samba feel. It's written by someone who is a good friend to us in this jazz department. I'm talking about a great arranger and trombone player by the name of Tom Garling. And this is a piece that he wrote for another famous composer who was dear to him, Fred Sturm, who passed away too soon. This one is entitled This One's for Sturm, and it will feature Jeremy Lanas on tenor saxophone. One, two, three, four. Thank you. Wasn't that beautiful? This one's for Sturm and Jeremy Lanas, sounding fabulous, yes. We have one more piece to conclude this half of this performance here. But before we play that, I wanted to take a moment to share with you and ask you to really tune in and check into the intermission portion of this concert because it's rather special. What we are going to present to you, to premiere, is the University of Louisville Honor Band. And normally we would do that on stage, face-to-face, but naturally this year we had to make some changes. So we have a virtual honor band. And my colleague, good friend Gabe Evens, wrote a couple of pieces for a high school honor band, and we reached out to a number of band directors in the tri-state area, mainly Indiana and Kentucky, and as a jazz department, we felt it was really important to reach out to a number of students who don't get an opportunity to perform in jazz band as they normally would due to COVID. So I'm really glad that we took part, and then we reached out to a number of directors and offered this. And a number of students accepted and wanted to be a part of this, and we're so pleased for that. We have a number of students from Indiana, as I said, and Kentucky, and even as far as Wisconsin that participated in our honor band. And the cool thing about this one is that this band got into the fun of this too. There are two pieces that Gabe wrote, and these guys recorded them, and the high school people recorded them as well, and then we put it all together in an asynchronous performance. And I have to give a shout out to my other colleague, Chris Fitzgerald, who painstakingly put in hundreds of hours of figuring out how to edit all of this and put it all together to present it to you all. So Chris, you're in the booth. Everybody give Chris a big round of applause. Thank you, Chris. I think the honor band, they did a fabulous job, an amazing job rather, and they're playing In the Between by Gabe Evens and also How Low They Will Go. So please tune into that. And in addition, you'll hear a little bit about how that process was all done. I believe Chris Fitzgerald recorded a little bit into this intermission so that you can hear how the whole process went, as well as Gabe Evens. So we're going to perform a Gabe Evens composition. This is Code Word Banana, and then tune into the intermission. Anybody here who's interested, you can just check on our link on the website to see that, and I highly encourage you to do that. So here is Code Word Banana, and we're going to feature Carter Schofield on guitar, and is there another solo in this one? Or is it just Carter? It's just Carter. Here's Code Word Banana. piano. Yes, thank you. And we also heard from Jason Knuckles on there. How about it? All right, so that wraps it up for the first half. Please tune in now for the UofL Invitational Honor Jazz Band. And we'll see you in 30 minutes for set 2.
Good evening. My name is Gabe Evens, and I am the Assistant Professor of Jazz Piano, Composition, and Arranging here at the Jamie Aebersold Jazz Studies program at the University of Louisville. Thank you for tuning in to the streaming concert of Jazz Ensemble I directed by Dr. Ansyn Banks. As you can hear, we are fortunate to have a lot of serious talent in our jazz program, which makes for a super swinging band. Though it has been an unusual year, by staying smart and following all the COVID safety regulations, we have been fortunate to remain open and put on several virtual concerts, including the one you are watching tonight. One concert that we were not able to put on in our normal way was the annual High School Honor Band that has performed at our Jazz Fest for the last few years. This relatively new project has been fun and successful and has featured people like John LaBarbera and Jamie Aebersold himself collaborating with these young, talented students. Knowing that we would not be able to rehearse and perform like our normal times, we decided to do something special to make this happen, and we have created a virtual high school honor band. So, what we did is we invited talented students in the region to participate alongside our own Jazz Ensemble I in a virtual collaboration and showcase of jazz talent. We used 2 compositions of mine. One is called How Low Can They Go?, which is a reference to Duke Ellington's Limbo Jazz, which is a piece on a wonderful collaboration between Duke and the great saxophonist Coleman Hawkins. It's got a catchy, simple melody and kind of a fun Latin feel to it, and we have some nice auxiliary percussion played by one of our high school honor guests. So that one has come out really nicely, and I think you will enjoy it. The other piece is called The In-Between, and I wrote it specifically for this project. It's basically a blues form, but it has a modern reharmonization. As you will hear in a moment, the students of our program teamed up with these amazing high school kids to bring my music to life in a beautiful way. We composers are always grateful to the musicians who put their talent and efforts into realizing our music, and these high school students and our college students have done a beautiful job with that. Thank you again for supporting the UofL School of Music tonight, and we certainly hope you have enjoyed the music. Stay tuned after the end of this honor band presentation for the second set of Ansyn Banks and Jazz Ensemble I. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Chris Fitzgerald, professor of jazz bass and music theory here at the University of Louisville. Thanks for listening to that performance of The In-Between by Gabe Evens, as performed by a mixture of high school students from around the region and students from our own jazz studies program here at UofL. I want to take this opportunity to talk a little bit about how this project came together, because there's kind of an interesting story behind it. And I'll start from the beginning. In a normal year, the Invitational Honor Band would be an actual band of nominated high school students, nominated by their band directors, to form one or two actual big bands as part of our university's Jazz Fest, which happens in late February every year. In normal circumstances, these students would actually come to the university and rehearse with a guest conductor. Previous guest conductors have been folks like John LaBarbera and Gabe Evens, and they would rehearse for 2 days and work on their parts, and some of them would work with UofL faculty to sort of iron out some of the details of their parts. And then they would get to participate in our Jazz Fest, performing live on the Saturday night concert. Well, we knew this year, COVID being what COVID is, that wasn't likely to happen, but we wanted to continue the tradition of the Invitational Honor Band. So we were thinking, back in the middle of the fall semester, how are we going to do this? And we thought, well, the best way to do it is to invite the students to participate asynchronously. So what we did to get started was we recorded the entire UofL Jazz Ensemble one part at a time. Basically playing their parts for the two Gabe Evens compositions. We started off, Dr. Ansyn Banks rehearsed the band on the two tunes, and we recorded just the winds with the wind instruments, trumpets, saxes, trombones, with a click track, and they performed all together, socially distanced, 6 feet apart, which in a really large room, which is the only way that you could do that. We recorded that so that they would have a time reference and an ensemble reference to feel what it was like to actually play with other people. So then the students came into this room. This is my office, and if you watch the previous video, you'll see that they recorded their parts, most of them right here in this very spot. They recorded their parts one at a time. We recorded video and audio of them, and then stitched it together into an audio performance of the two compositions in question. We did this for several reasons. One, because eventually we're going to release a UofL version of these two pieces featuring only UofL students. But more importantly, because when we wanted to send out something to the high school students, not something that would give them the experience of playing music as though you were playing with a group of other live musicians, which is what the whole big band experience is supposed to be about. So what we did was we asked, as before, we asked the band directors around the region to nominate students to be in these two bands. We had intended to have two bands completely made up of high school students, but we also realized that things being what they are, some people probably would not be able to participate even if nominated, and that we would end up with holes in the band. And we figured that this would probably happen, and it did. And we figured we would just use the UofL students in those places where there were no high school students to participate. So after mixing the audio for these two pieces together, which took a long time and was a really interesting process, when we sent out the parts for the high school students to play with when they made their recordings, it was basically the entire band minus their parts. So they would hear everything that they would normally have heard when playing with a band without their part, so that they're just playing their part along with it. So each student got these sound files electronically. They got their parts to read from electronically as well. And they recorded them with headphones so that they would be hearing the whole band while they were playing, and it would sound like they were, to them, it would sound like they were playing with an entire band. But the recording that they made, all of them just on their cell phones, by the way, would just be of them playing their part, a video of them playing their part, and all that you would hear on that cell phone audio is just their part, because the other part was in headphones. So they sent these back to us, also electronically, of course. We separated the audio from the video, and then replace the UofL students' audio with the high school students' audio, mix it together into an entire new big band track, which is roughly half and half, maybe slightly more high school students than UofL students, into a new audio track. And you've heard one of these so far for the in-between. And then we shipped off the video files to Brad Ritchie at Main Office Productions to put together the video wall showcase that you just saw. And Brad always does a fantastic job with these video walls. He's actually an amazing technician with these things. So basically, it was like taking all of these disparate parts and finding a way to mesh them all together into one complete whole. And we're actually really happy with the results, and I think everybody did a really fantastic job. I'd like to take this chance to thank all the band directors who nominated and supported their students through this process, and most of all, the students who took the time and effort to rehearse the parts and record the parts and send them back to us, and their patience for waiting for this whole thing to be put together, just so we can have these eventual video wall productions that you've just seen one of and you're about to see another. I'd also like to thank Gabe Evens for writing the music, the in-between and How Low Will They Go, both fantastic pieces that he wrote for this project. Dr. Ansyn Banks for rehearsing the band so that we could make the original recordings that everyone is basically playing against. And Mike Tracy, our area coordinator, the jazz studies coordinator, who sort of facilitated everything and helped us through the process, and also helped us fund the process by finding the funds to make this all happen. So I hope you enjoyed that first presentation, and I'd like to invite you to enjoy the second one with mostly a new band. This is the Gabe Evens composition, How Low Will They Go?
Okay, so welcome back to set 2 of Jazz Ensemble 1. Moving right along here, we're going to play an arrangement of Fables of Fabus, and this has been arranged by a good friend of mine who teaches at Butler in Muncie, Indiana, and his name is Mark Buselli, and we'll also perform another one of his arrangements in this half as well. But here is Fables of Fabus. Fables of Fabus. Yes, you heard from Carter Schofield on guitar, Will Hoyt on trumpet. Who else did we hear from? We heard from Jeremy Gisel and Jeremy Lanas. How about it? Very nice solos indeed. Next up is a Tom Garling original entitled Coda. It's beautifully written. We sincerely hope you enjoy Coda. Coda, very haunting, very beautiful. You heard from Jason Knuckles on tenor saxophone, and you heard from Mayur Gurukkal. How about it? We have one more for you, but before we play that, we have a number of members of the ensemble here who are singing their swan song. And for you younger people who don't know what I'm talking about is that this is their last performance with Jazz Ensemble 1. We have Carter Woosley, who's been the bottom, the rock, the foundation of this jazz band for how many years? 3 years, I think? How about it for Carter? He's graduating, going to DePaul University. Yeah. We will miss you now. Who else? We have Matheus Paglacci is finishing up his master's degree. How about it for him? We have Ben Sevy and Josh Dickey, who are finishing up their master's degrees, and they've done fabulous work in the sax section. How about it for both of these guys here? Ben and alto, the alto. Okay. I'm missing anybody. We got Anna Lee here. She's been in the jazz ensemble for what, 4 years? Has it been 4 years? She's been the timekeeper in the band for so long. We will really miss you. How about it for Anna Lee here? Graduating. Alrighty, so the last piece is arranged by Mark Buselli, again at Butler. Thank you again for giving us permission to perform your pieces. We really appreciate that. And this one's a burner. You'll hear from Jeremy Lanas on this one. You'll hear from Matheus on this one. This is My Shining Hour. Thank you. Jazz Ensemble 1, don't they play fine? Let's take it back. Thank you so much for attending in person. Thank you so much for those who tuned in. That's it for the semester for us. Thank you again. Have a pleasant evening. Good night.